Did you get a chance to see the Tupac biopic, All Eyez on Me? maybe you didn't want to see it if you saw. Go ahead. Give me your review on that.
Man, that was not, but to me, that was about Tupac Shakur. That was not Tupac Shakur's movie.
Dang.
I'm sorry, man.
This
and,
is probably
and
the
this
ugliest
is. I'm glad that it's already had a chance to, because I didn't do any criticism or reviews of it while it was in the movies, because, you know, I didn't want to be a person to bash something that was done for somebody who I loved as much as I loved Tupac. Like, I'm a young man, but you know how, you ever notice how you don't have to tell kids who Michael Jackson is?
Yeah.
You don't have to tell them who Michael Jackson is. They just, like, who is that? Michael Jackson. They just know who Michael Jackson is. Tupac was that for my generation. He was, you know, he was killed when I was young, but everything that he said, and everything that he rapped about, and the way that he lived, and all of that was so impactful to me. That's my favorite rapper ever. Favorite, man, like, he was a prophet, period. You watch his interviews and all of that stuff, he was a prophet. The reason why I didn't enjoy the movie, I'll give you the main reasons, but it's one thing that pushed me over the tipping point, and I'll get to that point. The reason why I didn't enjoy the movie is because I study Tupac. Like, from a child, I've been watching Tupac interviews. My mama used to have this tape of Tupac, I forget what the name of it was. It wasn't Yo MTV Raps, it was The Box. Remember The Box, where you could call in and, you know what I mean, type in the number and the video would play?
Okay.
Like, she had tapes of The Box, and I remember I used to watch this Tupac interview that he did on The Box. He was in New York, walking up and down the streets of New York. I used to watch that all the time. And I listened to the albums, and I watched his interviews, and I read his interviews in magazines, and he was so transparent. How could you make a movie with any inconsistencies in it when somebody gave you all of who they were in their lifetime, in the short 25 years that he was here? Now, mind you, Hollywood is Hollywood. I'm an entertainer. I understand how the game go. A movie's a movie. Sometimes you're going to have a little bit of stuff that's, you know, sauced up a little bit. They tried to create the love story between Jada Pinkett, but you see now the people who were involved. He was such an impactful person that all of the people that were involved are coming out saying, hey, man, that shit ain't happened. And that's a big part of why, because I studied Tupac, and there were certain things that I was looking for in the movie that never came. They never showed him getting married. It's so much. I don't even want to get into all of the stuff that they didn't show. The thing that pushed me over the edge, man, Smallz, is when, and for those who haven't seen the movie, spoiler alert if you're watching this shit, when Tupac get out of jail and he goes to record at Death Row. He's in the studio with Dre, and they making, you know what I mean, California Love, and then he goes into the other studio, and Snoop is there. They playing out, you know, two of America's Most Wanted, Ain't Nothing But a Gangsta Party, and he walk up to Snoop. He was like, man, this sound jamming. And then Snoop's character started talking, and it was really fucking Snoop's voice, nigga. Oh, nigga. Oh, my God, man. I said, Buddy was like, you know, I'm like, Snoop, what the fuck? They didn't let Snoop do the voiceover for, man, we don't even know what Homeboy sound like. Why not just get some makeup and be in the movie, Uncle Snoop? Why you do Slim like that? This nigga in the whole Tupac movie don't get to say a word. This nigga's a mime. He got a role to be a Snoop mime. This nigga's a Snoop puppet. It's like Snoop had his hand in his back, making a motherfucker talk using his own voice. I said, this is some bull. I said this in the movie theater. I was like, oh, these niggas tripping. And everybody started laughing and shit in the movie. I didn't even realize that I said it out loud like that, but I was like, come on, man. That was Lifetime presents Tupac Shakur. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. And I went and supported it. I paid to support it because I'm always going to support black men making movies because I need them to keep giving us budgets for when I make my movies. And it's coming. We out here. But at the same time, as a fan and as a movie critic, that shit, man. It should have been called Tupac Goes to Death Row. That's the name of the Tupac Goes to Death Row. Because they didn't show shit else. I'm sorry. No. Fuck that shit.
Wow. You're probably the first person I've had that really butchered this one like you have.
I mean, I'm sorry, man. I'm young enough to understand, you know, how things have to be presented in the social media era, but I'm old enough to understand that that's Tupac, man. He's one of our treasures. You know what I'm saying? You got to think about how they present history to us as black people in school. Think about school. You know what black history is in school? Slavery, Abraham Lincoln, Martin Luther King. That's it. That's it. That's all they give us. It's those three. And it's only 28 days of it. You know what I mean? So you think about anybody who has given what Tupac has given to the world in the capacity that he did, and he was 25 years old when he died. This is not a 35, 36-year-old man that we talking about. This is a 25-year-old young person who had all of this knowledge and all of this game and was so transparent at the same time. You watched him make his mistakes from 18 to 25. Imagine if you had a fucking camera on you, whoever watching this shit, from the time you was 18 up until the time you was 25. What would you have given the world? Would it have been what Tupac gave the world? No. So that means he probably not. So that means that he's an extravagant and a person that should be held in the highest regard, especially for our culture, because they tear us down. You know what I'm saying? They tear our leaders down. Most of our leaders have been snatched away from us, just like Pac was snatched away from us. But when you get a chance to get light as big as a movie to somebody who was important to us as Tupac was to the culture, I just think it could have been done a whole lot better. You know what I'm saying? In my personal opinion, I would never have said this while it was in the movie theaters and while it was going on, because I didn't want to be one of those people, because at the end of the day, it is a movie about somebody who I cared about personally and who had a big impact on my life. But just as a movie watcher, man, that was FX Presents. Now that didn't FX, they did good by OJ. That was Lifetime. That was Lifetime Presents the Tupac Shakur biopic. Tupac Shakur Goes to Death Row. That's what they need to put on the DVD when it come out.
Should this be redone?
Then we go back to having that conversation like we did. How long does it take for you to redo it? You know what I'm saying? Like, goddamn. Like, you know what I'm saying? The motherfucker been dead. Pac been dead 21 years. So it took him 21 years, damn near 10, to make this movie. And then you got all that controversy with, you know, John Singleton with the rape scene and all that shit. I mean, with that motherfucker trying to win an Oscar. That's what that was about, like, in my opinion. Like, he just trying to be looked at as one of those revered directors. He want to be standing on stage like the Moonlight motherfuckers. And he didn't get it for Boys in the Hood, so I think when he was going through it, he probably was trying to create some elements of Oscar-worthy material. But Pac addressed that too. He addressed everything. So it's just like, I don't think that they should remake it as a movie. You can't put his life in a 2-hour movie. You can't, especially when we got YouTube and all of these different things where we can go watch a chronological order of how he was presented to the world, how he presented himself. I think that his story should be done. If they do it again, it should be done by either in the style of the OJ story, which was dope. You know what I mean? It got to be like the Jacksons. It should be done like the Jacksons. Remember, like the Jacksons had to come on for 4 days. You know what I mean? For you to get all of that. And then there still was shit that they didn't get. But if they did it that way, I think it would be better, like the New Edition biopic. You got to put certain people who you can't just cram into a 2.5-hour movie unless you make it specific. If they would have called the movie Tupac Goes to Death Row, then I would have expected exactly what I saw. Because that's basically what they showed. You can't show his mother walking out of jail and that's it. Well, what was she in there for? Who was she for real? Why did she have to go to jail? Who was Mutulu Shakur? Why did he have to go to jail? Why is his aunt, excavated to Cuba? You know what I mean? Where's all that information? That's the first day. You go through that, the childhood. Then the second day, you go through him growing up as a teenager, getting into with everything that he got to, meeting Jada Pinkett, moving all them different places that he moved to. Third day, the Interscope years, the getting on with Digital Underground and the Interscope and that first process. Then you go through all of the relationships that he had. Pac was, you know what I mean, bitches Pac had They ain't show none of that. They didn't show none of that. Oh, how many? That nigga, come on, man. You gotta do it better than that. I'm sorry. And I ain't want to be one of them people because it's like I didn't make the motherfucking movie, and then the people who make the movie probably hear this and say, well, motherfucker, you make the movie. Well, hey, given the opportunity, I would love to, because I damn sure wouldn't let Snoop do the voiceover of Snoop without just making the nigga be in the movie. Snoop, you should have just did the movie, man. You could have just got him to put some prosthetics on your shit, and you could have been young Snoop again. You still look the same, damn near. All you gotta do is cut the beard off, nigga. You look the same. You could have just got him to put some of that shit on you and just save Buddy from being in the movie without having to say nothing. This motherfucker was in a silent movie in 2017. That's crazy.
I mean, Tupac was also in movies as well. They didn't show any of that either.
None. See, there you go, Smallz. It's too much to put in 2 hours.
He was a movie star.
Exactly.
Now, okay, I understand where you're coming from with your opinion on that.
Mm-hmm.
How do you rate this among all the other biopics that have come out?
You know what's so crazy?
For hip-hop. So you got the NWA one, you got the Notorious B.I.G.
NWA one was good. And the reason why I think the NWA one was so good was because...
Now, they crammed 4 people in one movie.
But the thing about it is, it was so much going on in the culture that it surrounded itself with not just them being NWA, but the culture of hip-hop at the time and how they managed to come from the west side of the country and create a whole new sound and all of that. And that drove the movie. You know what I'm saying? They didn't go back to where Dr. Dre was a little boy or where Eazy-E grew up in the hood. He came in as grown man Easy. So that's understandable. You're not even teasing that we're going to get that type of information out of this film. But the Tupac movie teased us at a Tupac childhood, but didn't really show us anything. You know what I mean? But out of all of the biopics, the craziest thing is the 2 biopics that I disliked the most was now the Tupac one and the fucking Biggie one. I didn't like the Biggie one. And I didn't want the Tupac one because I don't think they did right by Biggie. You know what I'm saying? Some of the stuff was just unrealistic in the Biggie movie. Like when Tupac got shot on the elevator. First of all, Anthony Mackie is an incredible actor. He's an incredible actor. But that motherfucker shouldn't have took that Tupac role, man. I'm sorry. I don't know who didn't relay the message to Ant not to just yell, I'm motherfucking Tupac. Yeah! I'm like, this nigga is overacting like a motherfucker. You know what I mean? Woo, Anthony Mackie. Man, that was the nigga, you got to be Tupac West Side. I'm like, this nigga sound like a wrestler. Like, you know how when a wrestler first about to come to the WWE and they do their little promote. When I get there, Tupac is going to take over. You know what I mean? That's just the way he portrayed that role. But like a lot of the stuff was unrealistic. You know what I mean? Like on the scene when Tupac got shot in the movie, you got Biggie going back downstairs in New York City on the elevator with a pistol on him. He get out the elevator with a gun on him. The police there lay him down. But how Big not catch a gunshot in New York City? So you mean tell me Biggie went downstairs trying to find out who shot Tupac with the pistol and then came off the elevator with the pistol and then they put the pistol on him and that nigga ain't go to jail that night? Like, come on, man. Like, yeah, so I just, of the you know what, the best rapper biopic to me, personally, rapper biopic is probably Get Rich or Die Trying. Because Get Rich or Die Trying was a really good movie. And, you know, 8 Mile was a really good movie. It wasn't really it wasn't a biopic per se, but it was about their life. And so those 2 were good. And
but you had the real people.
You had the real people playing themselves, so that helped as well. But
there were mixed reviews on both the Biggie one.
Yeah,
the Pac one.
No, the Biggie or the Pac one, I can't get with.
Some people say they need to redo the Biggie one.
They need to redo both of them. They need to redo both of them. They need to redo both of them, hands down.
Do you think this Pac movie was put on a certain pedestal also because of how well the NWA one was received?
Oh, of course. The NWA one made $200-something million. Of course, you had to. Because I'm sure nobody expected it to do that. You know what I mean? So yeah, of course, I think that it was that played a big role in a lot of what we saw in the movie.
Do you think that if the Pac movie came out before the NWA movie, that more people would have liked this one, or because the NWA one's on its own pedestal and it sits so high with a lot of people's opinions that this one is already kind of at a handicap?
No.
Okay.
No, because it's Tupac. We're not making a movie about...
And that's the other argument.
You know what I mean? It's Tupac.
People would say his life is
Tupac.
so much going on that you
I don't care who it's not like you're not making a movie about... It's Tupac. You know what I'm saying? Not Young Jock. No disrespect to Jock, but I'm just saying. You know, it's the first thing that popped in my head. Like, you know what I mean? It will probably be harder for you to get the Young Jock movie to be looked at in a critical acclaim, no matter how good it is, because it's, but man, we watch that nigga on Love and Hip Hop. But Tupac is he's everything that everybody bases what they base the character, the persona, the bravado, all of that. He encompasses all of that. You know what I'm saying? So no, I don't think that it would have been at a disconnect if it came out first, if it was this movie, because if it was the same movie that came out before the NWA movie, it's not better than the NWA movie, so no.
Now, okay, when there's a movie such as this biopic and the magnitude of it, and obviously this one had a lot of mixed reviews, but it had a huge budget, and I'm sure it made a lot of money.
Yeah.
There's going to always be talk of what people want to see next for a hip-hop biopic. Right. Who would you personally, whether it's done or not done, who would you want to see? I heard there's a Master P one in the works. I heard there's
I'm looking forward to seeing that one if that's the case.
Is there a one you would want to personally see, whether they're making it or not physically, but just a personal, man, I wish they would make this on this person?
Pimp C. Pimp C. Hands down. Pimp C.
Why Pimp C?
Because Pimp C is, to me, Pimp C, other than Tupac, Pimp C is the only rapper that I looked up to in my life. I listen to other rappers, I enjoy other rappers, but Pimp C is the only one who, when he spoke, I encompassed the things that he said. You know what I'm saying? He was that polarizing of a figure to me. You know, my list of rappers goes Pac 1, Pimp C 2. So, you know what I mean? Like, Pimp C to me is somebody who I think it's just because of the way he talked, and you know what I mean, everything he said. Come on, man! Like, it's just just him in general, and then the music. You know what I mean? One of the hardest verses ever, man. I'm still Pimp C, bitch. So what the fuck is up? Putting powder on the streets because I got big fucking nuts. Just got back from Louisiana in the Fleetwood Lac. I just served them niggas some shit to put their fingers on it. Man, like, I just would love to see that portrayed. You know what I mean? And I'm a Pimp C beyond fan, you know what I'm saying? So I would love to see the Pimp C or the UGK biopic done, you know what I'm saying? I definitely would love to see that. That's one of the ones. I would love to see a P one, because P was a very big influential part of my life. The first time I ever did something illegal, real illegal, we was listening to The Streets Is Trying to Kill Me by Master P. So not to say that that's what he invoked, but you know, he was
that was the
to
soundtrack?
us, yeah, that was the soundtrack to us being little boys running around the streets trying to pretend like we was grown men. So definitely a Master P and Pimp C. And is there anybody else? Too Short. I'd love to see a Too Short biopic too, because that'd be a porn.
Who do you think could play Pimp C? Do you think there's an actor right now that you could name that could play Pimp C, or somebody that could play him?
Looks-wise, no. Actor-wise, I would love to play Pimp C shit, but no, nobody visually, like kind of like the way Tupac looked, kind of like, you know what I mean, the real Tupac, the gentleman who played Tupac, and you know, and he did the best he can do, so salute to him. But no, I don't think anybody visually, but, you know, shit, it's one of my goals to play Pimp C, so, you know, I know I can do it, you know what I'm saying?
I want to ask you two questions about that Pac biopic that just came to mind. One person I did an interview with said that, you know, if the person that acted as Pac in the All Eyez on Me looked identically like Pac, but somebody said he didn't
Well, he didn't look exactly like Pac. He looked like Pac if he was like at the beginning stages of an allergic reaction or something. Like
Okay.
if his face a little puffy, you know, he had the little puffy face Pac. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
He's
All
puffy
right.
face
Puffy
Pac.
face Pac. Okay.
Exactly.
All right. Now, somebody had the argument that he had the look, but he didn't have the rapper mind state. So
What
meaning
is the rapper mind? What does that mean?
Okay, so like Eminem played Eminem. 50 Cent played 50 Cent in their respective movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if there was a person from a rapper background that may have looked like Pac, that would have given that role even more of a, probably just it would have been a better role for the movie.
More appeal in that regard, or you just think the performance would have been better, or he thought the performance would have been better if it was done by a rapper?
Maybe either or.
Okay, well, you know, I don't think
like
that...
for instance, like the person that plays Biggie in the Biggie movie, and he's a real rapper.
Right.
He goes by the name Gravy.
Gravy, I know.
And he's been on DJ Clue mixtapes, and before he even got these roles, he was in that mixtape circuit. So he had that rapper mind state. But obviously, this person that played Pac,
I don't think that would have made a difference personally. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to be Pac anyway. You know what I mean? You personifying one of the, you know, you're portraying one of the strongest personalities that the world has ever seen. So I don't care who it is, it's going to be some pressure in that role. But him visually having the visual aspect of Pac, he inserted himself in a way where he did the best that he can do portraying a polarizing figure such as Pac in 2 hours. You know what I mean? So
like,
I don't think that it would have made a difference if it was a rapper or not.
What if it was the mind of like a 50 Cent, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the embodiment of that.
Buddy?
Yeah.
I still don't think that. I think the content of the movie would hinder him, even if he was great in that regard. The script is everything, period. In a movie, the dialogue is what counts. One of my favorite movies is Jackie Brown by Quentin Tarantino, because Quentin Tarantino is my favorite director because of the dialogue, the writing. The reason why people love Power so much is because of the writing being so impeccable. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that if he did have a rapper mind state and he was a rapper, I think the content of the movie and the way it was structured, I still don't think people who loved Pac would have received it, you know, in a more positive manner, because Buddy didn't do a bad job. You know what I mean? He did what he could do. Being his first movie role too, that was an impeccable job for him, never been in a movie before, especially being his first movie playing Tupac. So, you know what I mean? What the fuck can you do? You know what I'm saying? Like, he did the best he can do. But as far as the him being a rapper or not, I don't think that would have changed, because even with him having an intensity of a rapper, the content of the movie still wasn't what it was supposed to be. So I don't think people would have received it any differently if they don't like it. For the people who do like it, then that's something different. But for the people who didn't enjoy it for those reasons, I don't think him being a rapper would have changed that dynamic in any way.
Then the other argument that I've heard somebody I'd done an interview with is the fact that the NWA movie might have been so good was those people are living. Dr. Dre was there to say, this is what I did or did not do. Ice Cube, that's his son, and Ice Cube's alive, and you have those elements.
But even in that regard, that still don't make it true. We don't know if it's true or not, because they never really gave us those information pieces throughout their time of living. We didn't know any of the ins and outs of what the NWA structure was, other than them being a group, being controversial, breaking up, and then beefing with each other, and then Eazy-E dying. You know what I'm saying?
Well, somebody made the argument like, well, Dr. Dre could have said, well, I would have said it like this, or I would have, they were right there.
Well, yeah, that part, but that's true. But still, we don't know Dr. Dre's personal mannerisms to know if he would have been saying it wrong or right anyway.
Right.
So how we received the movie has something to do with not necessarily the acting. I think that helped with them being able to sit down when the script was being wrote and put input that way.
Well, the argument was if Tupac's mother was alive during this whole process.
If Tupac's mother was alive, that movie wouldn't have came out, I believe. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that movie would have came out if she was alive. Not like that. And I don't think it would have looked like that if it did. But I think that the NWA biopic was so strong because, one, and this is something that I don't think people give a lot of credit for in that regard, but Ice Cube is a movie star as well. He makes movies. That's what he does. He's been a part of some really, really good movies, classic movies. So him alone, being in that world and engulfed in that world as he is, gives it a different feel, and it's his story. So that probably helped a lot. And then Dr. Dre, you know, being such a genius that he is in regards to how he, you know, markets and presents himself. You know what I mean? He done had us waiting on the album for I don't know how many years. You know what I mean? And you know how hard it is to keep motherfuckers interested in some shit that's supposed to came out 20 years ago? So it's like those people, who they are, encompasses a different dynamic in regards to how things will be presented visually. And the reason why I'm so upset about the Tupac movie is in that same vein, because Dr. Dre is 50 years old, Q probably in his 40s, late 40s, mid to late 40s, you know what I'm saying? And they've been here this whole time and have been able to craft and build themselves and build their legacy throughout these years. Pac gave us everything in 25 years. He laid it down for us in 25 years. So we didn't need Pac to be there writing or saying, hey, I would have said it this way. Because he did say it this way, and you can look at it and you can pull it up yourself and view him saying it that way. So it's no excuse.